You're watching Betting Weekly Fight Life on the Bet Rivers Network.
Welcome to Betting Weekly Fight Life. I'm your host, Kyle Andrew, joined once again by resident fight expert, Mr. Paul Hughes. Paul, I feel like we haven't had this conversation in so long. This is the longest break we've ever had to take, but it seems as though the UFC era of Paramount begins this weekend. UFC 324 is on the docket.
Yeah, welcome back to UFC. It's been a long wait for us. I know every single day we're texting like another 2 weeks, another 3 weeks. We're like, what's going on? But
it's our
I
Christmas.
We ended the year as we wanted to start the year with a big underdog win on Peter Yan. So let's try and we ended well. Let's try and start well going into this new year, the Paramount deal, and we've got maybe a lackluster top two fights in the card when you're talking about championships, but the card is stacked top to bottom with fun fights. So
it's pretty good. We don't need to pour over the semantics of the fight. That's been covered ad nauseum by all the other outlets. We can talk about the betting angles on this card without too much trouble because listen to me, it's a good card. I'm excited for so much of the undercard and so much of the actual main card. Why don't we hop right into it and begin with this main event that should be pretty damn good. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Man, this one, if you had predicted this would be the main event headliner of the first ever Paramount card, you probably wouldn't have made this your guess, but this has the potential to be quite the banger of a fight, doesn't it?
Just on that topic, that this could generally be that it's not even two top 10 heavyweight, not even two top 10 in the division level of fighters. I personally maybe that's quite a hot take, but I think Gaethje he's good at the one thing he does, and Paddy, he hasn't beat a top 20 lightweight. We generally look at it. He's beat Michael Chandler, who's on the back end, and we know what he's like. But other than that, his wins aren't great, and they don't add up to this looking like an interim title shot, which. I think it just speaks volumes about what the UFC want in this matchup. I think they want Paddy Pimblett to be champion, and the way Dana speaks about him, I'm not going to second guess myself with that opinion, but saying that about Paddy, he's not done this, he's not done that, I feel like this is absolutely cherry picked for him, and I feel like the big favorite price tag is definitely justified.
Yeah, I think so too. You talk about, in my notes, they're essentially all revolving around the fact that Paddy, and to be very clear, to no fault to his own, doesn't really have the resume to be in this fight yet. But that's not his fault. This is a circumstance fight. He certainly has a fantastic skill set. I mean, if Topuria was still in the mix, would this have been him versus Topuria? Would it have been someone else? It's hard to really say in hindsight because the situation is the situation. But he brings a much better tool chest to the octagon this weekend against Justin Gaethje, who, of course, he has that one thing he does really, really well, and he has good cardio. But this is an interesting step up for Pimblett in a fight that on paper he should win, but he can definitely lose because of that one thing.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at Gaethje as a whole, he's probably took more damage than most of the roster combined. If you generally look at how much damage he takes in his fights, he had an absolutely brutal KO against Holloway, and I think his chin's been going for years. I mean, we're forgetting, if we go back a few years ago, this guy was an underdog to James Vick at the start of his UFC career. He's always been, because he was that price tag, because he's always been a bit chinny and can be chinned, and that's not where Paddy excels. But I think Paddy's might be a bit hot take, but I think Paddy's actually a harder hitter pound for pound than him. And I think Gaethje's obviously better on the feet. He's more technical. He mixes it up better. He's probably more technical, more ways to win on the feet. But I think just pound for pound power wise, Pimblett has a much better chance of KOing Gaethje than the opposite. And that's just because Gaethje is chinny and Paddy does crack. And I think that's kind of underrated in Paddy. He hits hard. And I don't know. I was looking at ways in this fight. I mean, I know we've thought it somewhat prior, but I was tempted by Paddy sub looking at this because, I mean, let's get the elephant in the room out the way. Gaethje is a white belt on the ground, a genuine white belt. He literally says he doesn't train in that department, and like there's been no evidence to suggest that he's lying about that, and there's been no evidence to suggest he's going to do that. Like every time he gets taken down there, like Fiziev had him in like a reverse triangle off bottom. Like,
Yeah.
Fiziev's a pure Muay Thai striker on the feet, and like that just if I think Paddy can sub him on like 1,000 different ways that Gaethje doesn't even know about, and
Right.
it'll just be over before it even happens. I think like if Pimblett's off his back, I think a sub off his back's live. I think up against the cage, he can like trap something and get a sweep. His throws are very good. Pimblett, which obviously we're talking about a big grappling edge. I know that's what you were alluding to before, but I don't think Paddy's like an out and out great wrestler. I don't know about you. Like, I don't think he's gonna like. He can't just shoot and just get you down instantly. I think he's kind of gonna have to work something up against the cage and use his trips and use his throws, which he does well. But I do think whenever he gets him down, then the fight will literally just be over like that. And if it's not, I think he could clock him on the feet, which is kind of why I decided to go with inside the distance on Paddy instead of just the under, even though the under is a bigger price, just because I just think that if Paddy can't get him down early, because I said he's not an out and out great wrestler. He's a great jiu-jitsu artist, but he's not a great wrestler. If he can't get him down early, then I still think he can finish him at any point in this round, whether it's in the 5th round, or whether it's in the 3rd round, whether it's in the 1st round. He's so alive. Like, as soon as he gets him down once, I think it generally could be the fight. And
Right.
no, we are going back to the point that Gaethje is pretty chinny. So I think Paddy has him pretty covered here. I think Gaethje probably KO or bust. And
Well, yeah, every fight he's ever been in.
But he's like Paddy's like only minus 130 if you only bet in the decision, which is,
Yeah.
you know, like how bad can that be? So yeah, I think Paddy just has him covered wherever this fight goes on the ground. Gaethje on a straight stand-up fight probably wins, but I feel like he could get chinned as well. So
Yeah.
and with that huge grappling edge, just have to go Pimblett.
Yeah, I feel as though I don't really have much to add to this. Gaethje has one weapon, and the problem with his one weapon is he doesn't have another weapon to support it. So the threat of it is so easy to defend because you know he's not going to suddenly take you down and submit you. I agree with what you said about Pimblett. It's odd because he's certainly not the best wrestler, but he's great at putting submissions on people. So if he gets you to the ground, he might not be able to control you the same way others do, but if he can get an angle on a submission, he might lock it in. I originally thought that he would win by submission, but I like your angle here better at minus 121 to just cover all the bases on this because I just can't see this going the distance. I think if you had this fight with Gaethje 3 or 4 years ago, we might be saying something different, but I think now that's the right call, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, obviously just the wear and tear on his body and being 37 as well. Like how much do you weigh into that? And I know that they say like they're like Gaethje's like an inch taller and like, but Paddy's big for lightweight. Like stature wise, strength wise, he's a big lightweight. And I think he looks like he's still growing into his frame. I mean, he's 31 now, so you know he's probably in the prime of his career while you know Gaethje's coming out of it. But yeah, I like Paddy in this matchup.
I agree with you completely. Okay, let's keep moving through the fights here. Co-main event that was not originally the co-main event, but still a pretty good fight, I think. Sean O'Malley, Sugar Sean versus Song Yadong. This one's interesting for a lot of different angles, and I'll say straight up, I have never really bought into Sean O'Malley, but it does seem like he is a renewed and refocused fighter now. How do you think that will play in here?
Yeah, that's kind of what I've got written down exactly. Like Paddy on the come up. I mean, Sean O'Malley on the come up. I was definitely like, okay, this guy, like, how can I look to fade him? And Marab in the first fight against him was one of my like biggest bets ever. Like, he was like plus 100 against Sean O'Malley. It was absolutely insane.
Crazy to think about that. How one-sided it was.
Yeah, looking back. Yeah, but then looking at it, O'Malley's like been really impressive. I think the most impressive fight for me was that the Yan fight. Obviously, I know that was before the fight, but just the way he deals with the adversity and someone coming forward, and you know he's being dropped, he's been taken down, like his get-ups and everything, like that probably made him who he is today. Like going through all of that punishment and want to fight, and obviously getting the win, controversial or not. And when you said like he's like I can't remember exactly what you said, but he is taking care of his body. He's doing all the extra stuff that every athlete should be doing, and he's he's like doing all the science behind it and making sure he's in the perfect shape and the perfect headspace. I know he's quit social media and he's got people running it for him. He's all in on family and fighting, as he said. So yeah, like he's in a great headspace going in this fight. But then you're looking at ways to get with him. He's minus 205, decision plus 125. That seems okay. If I was going to go somewhere on the fight, it'd probably be that. But I think Song Yadong's really underrated
I think so
as
too.
well.
I think so too.
His wrestling's good. He's getting takedowns on Peter Yan. Like people should, you don't really do that unless you're Marab. And you know what I mean? Like that doesn't.
You don't really do it if you're Marab either, apparently.
Yeah, not in the last fight, anyways.
No.
Not when Yan has two working arms, anyways.
Yeah.
But Song was he was talking pre-fight, and he said that he's a much more well-rounded fighter than he was a few years ago, and he can do more than just his original striking, which makes me think that he's gonna come with a grappling approach here. And I think if he comes with that, like I cannot be on O'Malley. If this guy's going to come out and he's just looking to ragdoll him, like that's his whole game plan's focused on trying to take O'Malley down. Like, you know, obviously fighting's changing. I think O'Malley's good at managing distance and such. So I'm not 100% sold on taking Song as an underdog, but yeah, I just think plus 163 could look pretty big in the end. But there's just so many different ways this fight can go. And I don't know. I don't really, as we mentioned you asked me like, what's the fight that you can't really get a good grasp on in this card? And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen in this fight. So yeah.
To me, this one's underdog or pass, likely a pass, just because, as you say, O'Malley controls that distance really well. He is such a good boxer, and he has a tremendous reach advantage of 5 inches in this fight. And the one thing I'm concerned with more than anything with Yadong is opening up an old cut with that great boxing skill of O'Malley. Yeah. And if you do something like that, then it could lead to a premature stoppage or anything. I mean, my only 2 leans in this one would be O'Malley decision or Song Yadong as a dog, but I'm likely to pass right now or just put a little pizza money on an underdog bet here. I do like Song Yadong as a fighter, and I think for him, this is very much a referendum where he stands in this division and what his ceiling is. Because if he can't get through O'Malley right now, I think that might be the height of things for him as far as how high he climbs.
Yeah, there's another fight coming up later on this card, which I'm also going to say is a good leg of a parlay piece. But I kind of like just goes the distance in this fight. Yeah. I don't see much finishing upside for Song, and same with O'Malley. I think Song's got a great chin, but his cut is the issue.
Yeah.
But other than a Song being cut and opening that old scar tissue, I don't see a stoppage in this fight. So I think minus 200, although it is short. Minus 1, I think it's a bit better now. Fight goes the distance, but that'd be something I'm looking to play in a few parlays this weekend.
So your official bet was in fact to pass. I've already put that up on the screen there.
Yeah, just to pass. Yeah.
Yeah, and but this is another one of those ones too. Like as a fight fan. Yeah, just because you can't find the angle from a betting, it's going to be potentially a really fun fight. So it's obviously worth tuning into and stuff. And I'm very prone to change my mind as they walk out. You know, on fight day as they walk out, I'm just maybe I've got a niche, maybe I've got a feeling, maybe I read something on Twitter about prep or something, but perhaps I did not. But let's move on to the big boys, Paul, because I'm super excited for this one as well too. Waldo Cortez Acosta and Derrick Lewis absolutely smashing into each other like a pair of mountain rams. This should be a fun fight. Cortez Acosta comes into this fight on not only a hot streak, but an exciting hot streak. He's taken all the fights, he's taken all the smoke, and he's answered the call each time lately. He deserves this fight, and this, even for him, is a referendum. Because Derrick Lewis, at 40 years old now, he is a bit of a heavyweight gatekeeper, and he can still get it done. What do you see happening here?
Yeah. Plus 1900 on Waldo Cortez Acosta sub could be like one of the worst prices I've ever seen. If he wins by sub now, then I'm just like, I'll just retire. But there's no way, like, just looking at the discrepancy by finish and KO, TKO, maybe it doesn't look that short. It doesn't look like it's a big change, but like, looking like when you dive deeper and look into like Lewis and Cortez at this stage of their career and how they fight, it's just like if you like Cortez Acosta, you go with the KO. Like simply, I don't know. Like if people's taking the finish, then I don't know what you expect with Derrick Lewis. I think, as we said though, Derrick Lewis older. He's kind of. I'm not sure if he's just in this for like a bit of a paycheck at this point. Like honestly, like I know like this is like sad to say, and you are going off hypothetical. Well, we don't actually know, and like I'm gonna say something that people aren't gonna like completely like, but I feel like he has a bit of quit in him, and we've seen him, Derrick Lewis. Like sometimes when the gun gets stuff, he's like, like am I really like that fussed about the? Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know how I'll put it, but you'll see in like a couple of his fights, like the Tai Tuivasa fight, where he kind of like he fell to his knees and then like kind of slumped. It's like there was always controversy about that. A few other his fights when he's been finished, it's like it's just controversial. I think he's happy to come in here and just. I think he's getting set up to take a beating as well because Cortez Acosta, like I was pretty like low on him in the last couple of fights, but his KO, like he's working these combinations better. It looks like he's hitting harder than ever because when he came into the UFC, he couldn't find a finish, he couldn't buy a finish, and now he's plus 104 to get a KO, which is crazy. And I think it's a great price as well because. You know, as I said, this is an aging Derrick Lewis. He looks like he's getting chinnier every fight, and this is good. He's going to come here to fight and stand on the feet with Waldo Cortez Acosta, and I think it's not going to end well with him because I think Cortez is a much better boxer and a much better fighter on the feet, and I think he's just going to get pieced up like pretty bad. I don't see this going long. I think I'd be on Cortez Acosta early props, round 1 KO. I'll just be getting with him in all capacity here. I think he's like a borderline contender, like maybe like top 5-ish. And Derrick Lewis at this stage, outside of a puncher's chance, he's never been great, has he? Like if we're like obviously he's one of the greatest ever when it comes to these big KOs and how many KOs he's had in UFC history. But as a complete and all around fighter, he's never been great all around. I think Cortez Acosta just has too much with him. I think he can land takedowns if he wants. I don't think he'll go for them. I think he's just going to be strictly standing up. He has the cardio. He has a bit of everything in his game. He has the evasiveness, like the Pavlovich fight. I don't know. I think Cortez Acosta. He's gonna land early. I think it's gonna be a lot of punches up against the cage, and Lewis is kind of just gonna fold. And I think plus 104 for him to get a KO in this fight might be the best bet of the card. So yeah, happy to take it. Plus 104, Waldo Cortez Acosta to get a KO.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything you said. I mean, from a fan perspective, there's no such thing as a bad Derrick Lewis fight because if he wins, it's going to be some big crazy thing and a crazy speech to follow. Yeah. And if he goes out, he's going to go out on his sword. This is not going to be a 3-round match where they lay on top of each other. And I think Cortez Acosta knows that if he gets through Derrick Lewis, he now has a very clear path to maybe see himself in a title fight in a very weak heavyweight division. So yeah, he has to have that in the back of his mind. He has to be ready for this moment, and I think he is ready for this moment. I think he's put a lot of impressive performances on the board, if only from the frequency with which he's choosing to fight in heavyweight. Again, Derrick Lewis, he's always got the puncher's chance. Of course he does. He's a powerful guy, but he's not piecing together combos now. He's not doing any really skillful tacticians type of fighting, and Cortez Acosta has increasingly shown an ability to do that. I see what you see. Potential flurry of punches up against the cage. Lewis just folds and collapses. A referee jumps in, maybe round 2, something like that I'm seeing, and could be earlier. It's hard to say. Like I think Derrick Lewis might just be in this for the performance of it, and you know, if he loses this fight, which I think he will, this will be him definitely seeing himself off into the sunset for a couple of more paychecks probably, and that'll be that. So let's move on.
I also just say quickly, I think Cortez Acosta might have one of the best chins in the MMA. Like the punches he was getting hit with the Pavlovich fight. I don't know if you go back and watch it. In any other fight, he's getting hit with bombs and he never looks phased. Like in all these fights, it's actually crazy. Like his chin is so underrated, and I'm not even sure if Lewis like I know he's got some of the biggest power ever, but I don't even know if he's going to put him out if he hits clean because
can he hit him clean? Yeah, like Cortez Acosta is a pretty good boxer for heavyweight. Can he even hit him clean without like at least getting a little bit of deflection in there and whatnot? Let's keep moving on. We have Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas in the women's flyweight division. This one's. I think this one's pretty much. It's unfortunate. This is the best women's fight on the card. We lost that co-main event, which we all wanted to see, but. Is this fight as straightforward as the odds appear to be?
Yeah, pretty much. As you say, so I know it's pretty shocking, but Natalia Silva is very, very, very good. I don't know how much we spoke about on this show because I don't think we've been on many main cards.
No.
But I think we touched on her when we were talking about Jasmine in the past, like her fight against Natalia Silva, and that a loss to Natalia Silva doesn't mean anything because she is probably.
She's the good.
I think she's the best fighter in this division. I don't like this weight class for Rose. I think she's slower than she was. I don't think her power carries, and I think her to win, it's got to be. She's got to get takedowns, and she's got to like stay on top. I don't think she's going to win any minutes on the feet. I think Silva, her kicking is the best in women's MMA. Like her body kicks, her head kicks, she mixes it up so well. And I think as long as this fight goes, it's probably going to be pretty one-sided decision. Like I know -200 for Natalia Silva is a short price, but again, I'd follow up with that with the goes the distance and the O'Malley thing.
Sure.
You know, you get plus money there. Like, I think Rose is again kind of done at this stage. Unfortunately, good fighter in a day, but I don't think this weight class is for her. And I think Natalia Silva is probably gonna just be too much for her. In all honesty.
I don't have a lot to say about this fight because I'll be shocked if this is anything but a 30-27 victory by decision for Natalia Silva. I don't see like a 30-26 or anything like that. Rose has too much of a skill set to probably allow
Maybe
that
Rose
to
can
happen.
get like a trip and land on top and win a round with like 3 minutes control time. Like, it's pure.
Right.
But that's her path to victory. You know, that's the only way she's going to get it done.
She doesn't have the power.
If you're relying on that, then.
Yeah, I can't see. I think she's probably still too skillful to be finished in this fight. But if she is, will I be? There's not a ton of finishers in women's MMA to begin with. I think Natalia Silva will just go on there and put on a 15-minute performance of dominance and show the world that she's ready to ascend to her title shot. And I just don't think Rose is going to have much for her. Also, like in Rose, it's not like Rose is old either, but she started so young, so there's a lot of mileage on the odometer, definitely. You know what I mean? So, and that catches up to just about everyone. So she's like these last two fights are very similar to me in the sense that I think she's here for the paycheck. I think she probably still believes in herself, but unfortunately I don't think she's going to have anything for Silva at all. Were you able to find a bet on this one, Paul?
I don't know what way you're getting a bet on this fight, so hopefully someone can find. Maybe some people are brave enough to play the -2.
I like the idea of if you're a fight parlay person, toss that decision victory in a piece. The -480 to win by any means is just too. It's ridiculous to put in any piece, but -200 by decision. I don't see this being a finish, but. Yeah, it's just I just don't have a lot to say about it. It's unfortunate that Rose is not more competitive at this stage of her career, or time has passed her by, I think, at this point. And Natalia is ascending, and she is a fantastic fighter indeed. So let's move on to the last fight of the main card and wrap things up here. This is a great way to start the card, and I remain a little bit torn about what's going to happen here. Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. Last time we saw Gene Silva, of course, he was making me a lot of money by getting his head smashed in by Diego Lopez. And the question we now have, is this -295 justified? Because that's assuming he took a bit of humble pie and a big lesson from that last fight, and he's ready to come out and do this against a very game Arnold Allen. What are your thoughts?
I've been all over with this fight. Generally all over.
Yeah.
I've been thinking I'm going to take Allen to win. I'm taking Silva KO, and then I'm taking this and that. I'm taking unders. I'm taking goes the distance. I've been generally all over, and it's going to come. I know it's a spoiler, but I'm not going to be playing anything in this fight just because I just can't come to a conclusive decision. Like Silva, when I watch back the Lopez fight, like you know what, I'm happy we cashed Lopez on the show. Me and Kyle cashed him. I know we were pretty happy because we took him pretty early as well. As soon as the odds came out.
Yeah.
But I think Gene Silva looked like he looked way better. He was absolutely schooling them on the feet before the spin elbow, and the tides were turning heavy. And I generally think that off that fight, even though he lost by literal KO, like I think that proved to me that he's going to be at least the second best fighter in this division at worst. Like maybe he is already. It's going to be between him and Evloev. I'm not sure who is, but I think he's too skillful on the feet. He's a monster. And Arnold Allen is like, he gets hurt all the time, but he never gets finished. So it's kind of like where do you weigh it up? Do you think Gene Silva can be the one to crack him and put him out finally?
That's where
Do you think
I'm at,
Arnold Allen's
yeah.
going to survive the onslaught and pace him? Like, it's just too much going on for me. And as you mentioned before, like, is minus 295 justified? Maybe, but I'm not willing to pay the price to find out.
No, I think if I had a lean here, it's Silva by decision. Right now, he definitely has the hands to finish Allen, but no one has. So I have trouble laying the wood on that, and I might. The decision for me, I can see it. I can honestly see a 30-27, maybe more likely a 29-28 decision, but a 29-28 that's like pretty decisive, like pretty clear who won this fight. But I'm torn.
Yeah.
Like I don't, as of right now, recording this show, I do not have a play on this fight for the simple fact that I just don't know which way this will go because of the way Silva's last fight went, where he looks so good in moments. And then he died on his sword, which I can totally respect. And he died on his sword against a guy who's headlining next week's main event, right? So there's nothing to be ashamed of for him. And, you know, however you feel about the fighting nerds, they do typically train fighters pretty well. And if they took anything from that fight, there's a lot to improve on then as far as defensive capacity and whatnot. So if he's learned anything from that last fight, he should beat Arnold Allen. That is my opinion, but him by decisions might lean, but I don't have anything else. You? That's it? You leave it alone? Yeah.
Leave it alone, as I said with you. Maybe imagine Gene Silva comes out and he knows he let his emotions get the better of him and he's a calm fighter.
Right.
Imagine that happens.
Yeah, like just
he fights more disciplined.
No barking, just none of the theatrics. He's just totally a different human being all of a sudden. That's it.
Who knows, man? It's the fight game, but I'm not willing to pay the price to find out, anyways.
Yeah, but I do love it as a card opener too, though, because I mean, you always want to start a card with someone barking at their opponent because it's just generally a good look. Paul, before we wrap up,
how else would you want to start the card?
Yeah, well, like what do you want to do here? It's great. You want to quickly review your picks on this card before we wrap things up for this week?
Yeah, we just have the two official picks. So in the main event, we've got Paddy Pimblett to win by finish, and then we have Waldo Cortez-Acosta to win by KO against Derrick Lewis. Again, if anyone's looking for some undercard things, I'd probably take Umar Nurmagomedov by sub and Alexander Hernandez to win. That would probably be my two other plays on the card. But yeah,
what's that line on the Nurmagomedov sub right now?
I think it's like plus 200.
Huh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And what are the main fight odds with that? It's pretty
like
lopsided.
1,000 or something.
That's a pretty good sub odd given the disparity in the main line. Let's have a look what
he is quickly before we sign off.
Sure.
Minus 1,600 are currently a bet there is.
Wow.
Davison Figueiredo plus 950. Maybe we just have to play that for the culture.
That's a perfect note with which to wrap the show. Paul, honestly, welcome back to us. I'm excited. We get 2 weeks in a row now, finally, too, because there's another numbered card next week. I don't know what we're supposed to call them anymore, because, I mean, for us, for anyone that's not American, they're still pay-per-views. But they're numbered cards, and it's a big one next week. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this week. Just getting the action back in my life. I'm here in Miami right now, and I'll be spending Saturday night in a hotel room watching men punch each other, as most people do in Miami on the weekend. But I'm looking forward to it either way. So, Paul, I will see you next week when we record Fight Life. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Good luck with your picks this weekend. Thank you to Bet Rivers for once again putting Fight Life on Betting Weekly Studios. See you next week.
Thanks for watching Betting Weekly Fight Life on the Bet Rivers Network.